My husband and I went to counseling, and he still divorced me anyway.
Looks like it wasn't the counseling's fault.
I, 29 female, was married to my husband, 29 male, for 2 years, but we were in a relationship for 14 years. Half of our lives. No kids either. In my opinion, we were a good couple. Full of warmth for each other, support, love, and ambition. People in our environment said that we were like perfect couple. I thought we had good life. Good jobs, family and friends support. Traveling, daily chatting during workday, then talking at home, eating meals together, almost no arguments. By the way, this comes from user _AirAd. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley. I'm so glad I'm not reading this.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know, here and there.
Some stuff.
Stuff from up and down, left and right, whatever. Just let us know all the stuff, everything you've ever known in the comments, please.
Yeah, we love it.
And OP says, but half a year ago, my husband started to admit that he isn't happy and that he needs help. I gave him as much support as I could. I asked him, what can I do for you? I promised I am here for you anytime and want to help you. I gave him a lot of support and attention. During this half year, my husband has cried a lot, and it wasn't a few tears. It was hysteria and despair. I always sat next to him on the floor, sometimes for hours, and tried to find some solution, give him support, hope, begging him to tell me what is happening and how to help him. But he never gave me a reason. So I thought it was about work or house we were building. I had no idea the reason could be in our marriage. I helped him to find psychologist and psychiatrist. He was prescribed antidepressants, but he didn't want to take them. I also noticed that he spent a lot of time on phone chatting.
Oh.
He took his phone to the toilet and kept in the pocket. I said to him that I noticed this hiding, but I didn't want to break his privacy. So I just begged him, look me in the eyes until I don't have to worry about another woman. He looked. You don't have to, he said. And for me, it was enough. I trusted him.
You know, with technology advancing, it may not be another woman. It may just be a robot. Someone said an AI robot. It could just,
Yeah.
grok.
I mean, technically, would they say the AIs are going to be better at everyone at any job? So at some point, the AIs are going to be better at romance scams than anyone else.
Holy cow.
So, and then what do they need that money for?
Servers.
More graphics cards.
More RAM.
The AI is going to buy more RAM and more graphics cards so it can make more fake relationship scams and get more graphics cards and more money. This is the future Sam Altman wants for us.
Oh my gosh.
1 month ago, he found courage to admit that the reason of him being unhappy is in our marriage and wants to break you up. He said that he sees that I love him with all my being, with all my heart, but he can't return this feelings. He said that he changed and we are not compatible anymore. It broke my heart. In one moment, my whole world collapsed. I begged him to go to marriage counseling because there was no way to end such a long relationship in just one day without a fight. He agreed for counseling. We were in counseling only once. He said there that he is unhappy in this relationship. He is tired. He doesn't want to pretend anymore. He said that he had been keeping this decision in himself for months, but he was afraid to tell me about it because he felt responsible for me. He didn't want to hurt me. He was afraid that I wouldn't be able to cope alone. I saw that there is no light and hope in him, and it can really be over. When I understand that I can't do anything more, I decided this is the moment for checking his messages and find the true reason. And I found what I was looking for. It was week ago.
Oh, he's monkey branching? Bro.
Monkey branch. What is that?
Where you're hanging on one vine, one relationship, and hanging on to another one, another relationship, and you're going to let go of the previous relationship so you can swing to the next one.
Swing into the next vine. Monkey man. He must have crazy forearms.
It's a strategy.
He has cheated on me with his coworker for over 6 months.
Oh.
She is 6 years younger girl,
Oh.
and she was in long-term relationship just a month ago also, but she finished it.
Oh no.
Well, at least one person did it the right way.
Well, no, she did it 5 months in still. They've been seeing each other for 6 months.
No, nobody did it right. No. When I thought he was in the office, he was working from her house with her.
Oh no.
Working on what? They professed love to each other. They talked about kissing in the elevator. He promised her that he put his affairs in order but needs time, begged her to not leaving him. She said, "I will be waiting no matter what." He said to me that there was no spicy sleep between them, but I am not sure if I should believe him. When I told him that I knew, he admitted that he didn't have the courage to tell me about the affair. He wanted to help me become independent, and when I was ready, he would leave. And nobody would find out about her. He felt responsible for me and the need to take care of me. He said he fall in love with her. First time he feels something like this because so far there was no comparison. He didn't think it was possible to feel this way. It hurt me like nothing ever before. I love him with the strongest love in the world. I can't hate him. I know that I am naive, but if he said it was a mistake, I would forgive him in a second. But he won't. He doesn't want me anymore. I know that it is the lack of respect for myself. I know he hurt me and can do it again in the future, but he is my favorite person in the world. He did a lot for me. He gave me motivation and made me ambitious in many life fields. We experienced the most beautiful moments in life together. I don't want to accept the fact that he will live a happy life with her and I will be alone. I have huge support in my family and friends, but in the end of the day, there are only me and my thoughts and empty bed. How can I
Aw.
move on? How to deal with this situation? I have never lived alone. It's only been a week and I already feel like the loneliness is getting to me, even though I have friends who call me or meet me every day. But I only want him.
Oh.
I talked with him every day for 14 years, and now we have no contact. Sometimes 1 or 2 logistic messages a day. I have obsessive thoughts about where he is, what he is doing, whether he is with her. I promise I'll go crazy. I nonstop think that she will live my life, my dream life. Maybe they will get married, maybe have kids together. These thoughts are making me feel bad because it was our plan, his and mine. Yesterday I had the first therapy session, but it gave no relief. What should I do? I don't have energy or motivation for anything. And there are some comments, but definitely
Aw.
keep going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Okay. I'm gonna get on the little serious bus, get on the serious hat on here. My first thought and concern, are they in the US? Second thought and concern, is she from a country outside of the US? Because it sounds like she doesn't it sounds like she's not from, like, English isn't like her first language. So like, does she have a green card? And has he just been providing for her this whole time? And now that they've only been married for 2 years? Because how long do you have to be together for?
I want to say 2 might be one of the benchmarks, but I think the other one is like 5 years.
Like,
she-
together or like married?
Married.
That's what I'm also worried about. Because he's like the provider, taking care of him, taking care of her. And that makes sense why she has this like dynamic. That's what I'm worried
In a
about.
way, I don't think we have to worry about that because in
Okay.
a way,
I think
It
after
d-
2 she can apply for her own thing. I think
Gotcha.
it might
Yeah.
be it's either 2 or 5 though, I think is when you can get your own citizenship.
he was doing that weird thing though, where he was like, yeah, I wasn't going to tell you until I felt you were independent and ready enough to be. So like if him leaving her would like jeopardize her like immigration status or what any of
Mhm.
that, I'm
Mhm.
sure he would have like gotten it so that it wouldn't and then did it.
Okay, that's my only
Which,
concern here.
yeah. I'm not saying this guy did anything right, but he's definitely not out here trying to be like, yeah, I don't love you, and I never did, and I don't even freaking care about you at all, and I hope you have to leave the country. He's like, He's just like, I don't know. She's 6 years younger and really hot, and I have not ever felt this way about anyone, and I did not know you could. So I'm confused, and I'm gonna leave.
What goes on in the mind with like, boom, I'm gonna go over here. Just opportunists? I don't know. This is so sad, and I feel for this girl.
Relevant comments. This is the correct advice. Do not go to. Wait, what?
So there was a comment, because I just had it up, and I don't know if the actual comment it's referring to made it in, because there's
Oh.
a bunch of responses to it.
Okay.
But the first comment is, the first thing you need to do is go to HR and report the person and your
Okay.
cheating husband. Maybe all those BS and crying was him feeling guilty. If it's been going on for 6 months, they'd professed love to each other. Trust me, they've been doing it.
This is the correct advice. Do not go to HR, talk to an attorney, and let them guide you through the divorce process. Any attempt at revenge will only bring temporary satisfaction. Don't lower your own standards just because he was willing to do it. He has the poor character, not you. And definitely don't do it because there's a bunch of petty humans online. Consult an attorney. Grieve your marriage and friendship as it is no longer. Move forward and heal. It's going to be a long road, but stay strong. You'll be so proud of yourself when you've made it through to the other side of this healing journey. And we have an update.
Oh no, let's get it.
Let's get it. It is over a month since D-Day, over 3 weeks since our last meeting, 5 days total of no contact. For most of the last few weeks, I've felt quite fine. I moved into a new, beautiful apartment in a beautiful area where I feel peaceful.
Aww.
That's what we can do, babe. We prioritize our peace. I've been able to joke about the whole situation, talk about it without emotion and without crying, and there was a lot of anger, rage, and hatred in me. I think my good condition was due to the adrenaline and shock. Since D-Day, we texted a little, but about nothing. He almost always texted first, and I answered with just a few words, nothing more. I didn't feel the need to talk. But for the past few days, I have been struggling with the overwhelming need to contact him and meet him. The anger has been replaced with longing. I can't stand the thought that I don't know where he is, what he is doing, how he is. I know this piece of advice, that I should focus on myself, I know, but I can't. I try to make myself busy, but my obsessive thoughts about him never leave me. Yesterday, I was in cinema and I barely remember the movie because I thought about him all the time. And I constantly checked my phone with hope he would call me. I check his status on Messenger dozens of times a day. When he is offline for a few hours during the day, I create stories in my head about what he is doing. I told my therapist about my need to meet him and talk to him. She told me that he is still my husband, so if I want to text him or meet him, I shouldn't fight with this feeling and just do it because I have a right to. And it isn't about showing weakness, but about going through the situation on my terms instead of adjusting what I was put in without my consent. She told me I shouldn't pretend that I don't exist and hide underground, making his life easier, but give him some of the burden that I carry and that he should also face. But she also told me that I should firstly think about the purpose of conversation with him. And I can't see the purpose. I feel a craving for our conversation, but what would we talk about? How's your new life? How's your new relationship? How are you in our flat without me? It's pointless. How do you deal with no contact and not knowing how your ex-partner is? Do you have experience with breaking no contact? And we do have a second update. Yesterday, I met up with my husband for the first time in 2 months. We had to talk about selling our shared property and the divorce. The conversation was pretty calm, and we even chatted a bit about how things have been. But after the meeting, I completely fell apart. I knew exactly why we were meeting. We needed to sort out practical stuff. But deep down, there was still this tiny bit of hope that he'd show up and say he missed me over these past 2 months. Maybe even that he regretted what he did. But he didn't. Not a single word like that. I thought I'd been doing okay these past few weeks, but seeing him just tore the wound open again. He looked good, had new clothes, and it was another moment of realizing that this really is the end. He was my best friend for half of my life, and yesterday we talked like total strangers. Today I woke up at 4 in the morning because I dreamt he stayed with me. I can't stop crying for 7 hours. And to top it off, he told me that our mutual friends had asked him to be the godfather of their child in the middle of all this. I trusted them. I even gave them the keys to my new apartment just in case. And in return, I got a smack in the face. I'm going to confront them, thank for the help, take my keys back, and end this friendship. I'm done with them. I don't want people in my life who do not only accept what he did, but actually seem to support it. What do you think about this situation? Do I overthink it? If you have any advice, please share. And there's the third update. Yeah, it takes time, dude. It takes time.
Yeah,
It took me a very, very, very long time to get over my first relationship.
to me, it feels like you ever see those it's like those things that like in the sand, like those people that like do that thing with the sand, they make the sand art.
Yep.
Sart?
Is that what it's called?
No.
Don't
But
do this.
yes.
Sart. Anyways, they do the sart, and let's say you put like a big rock in the middle of it.
A big rock sart.
Well, you put a layer of sand, you do it, sand, you do it. But every time you get to that rock, you're still gonna have to avoid it a little bit because that's like
Yeah.
damage to the land or like a piece of the land. So until that sand can overcome that rock, no matter how big or small it is, it's gonna take time, and you're still gonna have to like learn how to navigate around it,
Yeah.
and that takes time. Or I heard some experts they do like EMDR therapy or something, and they're able to process it faster and add more sand to their smart, whatever. But that's the way I look at it and how to approach those kind of things.
One day you'll get that sand.
Zen garden, that's what it is.
We broke up in November 2024. 2 weeks later, I moved out and started living alone in a beautiful apartment in my dream part of the city. The first weeks were awful, lots of crying, sometimes the kind where you can barely breathe. I didn't want to believe it happened. I just wanted my old life back because I didn't recognize the one I woke up to. Every morning, my first thought, and every night, my last, was that I lost the love of my life. The sadness literally hurt. I lost not only my favorite person, but also my identity and my routine. What helped me back then was people. I learned to ask for help, to ask friends to come over and just sit with me. I knew I couldn't go through this alone. I also kept busy. I started going out alone to restaurants, to the movies, to concerts, and it felt weird at first, but I kept pushing myself. Every time, I felt a little proud and a little better afterwards. And the walking. I walked 4 to 5 times a week, 2 to 3 hours each time, because I couldn't stand being in an empty apartment. At first, it was just a way to waste time, but slowly it started to calm me down, and it helped my health too. Solo traveling as well became my favorite thing. It showed me that I'm actually great company for myself. Years ago, I was deeply sad, but I also felt peace. The war was finally over. Everything I was so afraid of had already happened, so I could finally rest. Then spring came, and so did better days. Week by week, the sadness and anger faded. I started forgetting pieces of our old life and replacing them with new, my own memories. In the beginning, I couldn't believe this new life was really mine. Now I can't believe that old one ever was. Feels like it happened to someone else. And how is it now? I still have bad days, especially now in the fall. I'm still healing, and I know it'll take more time. Do I think about him? Every day. When I pass our favorite cafe, but now I'm not afraid of drinking coffee there. When I hear our song, but I don't skip it anymore. When I visit a place we plan to see together, but now I just make new memories there. Better for me. When I achieve something, but he's no longer the first person that I want to tell about it. I'll never forget what happened. I'll always remember that night when I cried so much I thought I would lose my life from heartbreak. Changed me forever, but there's still a whole life ahead of me, one that is worth living and fighting for. What did that breakup teach me? That nothing lasts forever, and it's sad, but true. You can't hold on to anything too tightly or take it for granted. You always need to be ready to say goodbye to people, places, things. Loving harder doesn't fix anything. Someone wants to leave, they will, and you'll just lose respect for yourself trying to stop them. When I found out about the cheating, I was ready to beg him to think it over. I was ready to forgive, but he didn't want to. Now I'm thankful for that. The breakup happened at the best time. I'm still young, and we had no kids. It saved me years of my life. And no contact, there is a power in not knowing. In the first weeks, I was obsessed. I stalked him everywhere, trying to guess where he was and what he was doing. Now I live peacefully not knowing, and I don't want to know. We last saw each other in June to sort out some things, and since then, no contact. I even told our mutual friends not to tell me anything about him, even if I ask. My last act of love for myself and for what we once had is that he'll never hear from me again. Maybe one day I'll forgive him. Not now. But that forgiveness will be for me, not for him. I want to forgive myself for losing self-respect when I was tearing myself apart trying to save the marriage just to feel loved for a little longer. You don't need closure or final conversation. Don't chase answers. Don't chase closures. For me, the closure is knowing I did everything I could for this marriage. You have to accept that you will never get all the answers, and that's okay. And probably you will never understand their actions, and that's your superpower. You're not like them. Don't ignore your gut feeling. If you feel something's wrong, it probably is. And a little self-love corner. What rent right this year? I bought my first apartment.
All right.
A year ago, we were building a house together that later had to be sold. Today, I walked into my own place in my dream neighborhood. I got promoted.
Oh.
Work was the only stable thing in my life, and throwing myself into it paid off. I traveled solo a lot. My first solo trip was local, and it showed me I could actually enjoy my own company. Then I went abroad, and later to the U.S. I'm from the EU. Visiting the U.S. was my teenage dream. Okay, Katy Perry. Now, solo travel doesn't scare me at all. I've been to my favorite seaside city, the mountains, Lisbon, Rome, New York, Copenhagen, and still counting. I organized a mountain weekend with my friends for my 30th birthday. The whole weekend, I didn't miss him even for a second. I had so much fun and felt surrounded by amazing people. I started running, and I used to hate it. Now I can easily run 5 to 7 kilometers. I did my first 5K and recently ran 10K for the first time ever. I think all those long walks through fall and winter helped me get here. So much has happened. Enough good things to fill a few lives. And this is still just the beginning. And what about dating? I'd like to start dating again, but honestly, I feel paralyzed with fear. The idea that someone new, like from a dating app, could tell me anything about themselves and I'd have no way of knowing if it's true, it terrifies me. I'm just so scared of being lied to again. Would never lie to you about. The full episodes with stories just like this one that we have just waiting for you over there on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to podcasts. If you love us, why don't you go on over there and search OK Storytime and get to listening.
Yep.
All right, let's finish this. I can see how much I
Snuggle.
with trust now, not just in romantic relationships, but in general. I question everything people say or do. I always look for the hidden meaning or the trap. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in a situationship with a longtime friend. Uh-oh. That sounds messy. I know it's going nowhere, but it gives me some dopamine, so it is what it is.
Twerk it, girl.
And finally, a few words to end with. Believe me, in the end, it will work out. You'll be okay. One day, you'll wake up and realize it's behind you. You'll feel detached, calm, and the weight won't feel so heavy anymore. Let it hurt, and then let it go. And that is the end of that story.
My husband admitted his affair beside me in bed, then replaced me weeks later.
Honestly, can't even be mad about it. He told you.
It's been 1 year since D-Day. It feels like it was just yesterday, but also a lifetime ago. I remember waking up that morning with my head on his chest, feeling dread and panic about the state of our relationship, but also hopeful that maybe, just maybe, the tide was finally turning.
Dang.
By the way, this comes from Friendly Novel 4558, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily.
Yep. But I'm in a blanket.
And if you guys have any comments, let us know down below.
Yeah, we're not experts in anything except, like, reading.
Yeah.
And even that's a little sketchy.
Yeah, I shouldn't be reading this. Anyways. Then I looked up at him and could see something was wrong. I asked him, something wrong? And he said, yes, and paused. I've been having an affair.
No. That's you just came out and said it? You didn't even like warm it up or like just like try to, you know, elite it somewhere, like, give it a little prep time?
I went numb. I didn't believe it, honestly. I felt nothing. I just asked with who, and then the floodgates opened. I could barely get my words out. I felt so unbelievably hurt, angry, confused, shocked, everything gone in an instant. 10 years together, and our marriage was over, just like that. Think back at all the tears, all the conversations, the utter agony, the heck I was in for so long, trying to make some sense of things, trying to get answers, just consumed by it all. The bottomless pit of despair I couldn't crawl out of. Felt like a hole had been ripped open in me, and I couldn't stop the bleeding. Couldn't stop the pain, and yet no one could see it but me. His betrayal has been the most painful thing I've ever been through. While time, as slow moving as it can be during moments like this, helped me little by little, and I'm still struggling. I'm in so much pain, full of doubt, fear, confusion, anger. It's all still there. I'm trying my best to fight through it. I still have so many feelings. It's just been so messy and chaotic over the last 12 months. I think there's many things I could have done differently. I leaned on him way too much of the months following D-Day. I didn't want to reconcile, but I needed support. I needed him to witness the destruction, help pick up the pieces of me. I was in a total freefall, and I was desperately holding on to anything I could to survive, second by second sometimes. We spent a lot of days together, crying, holding each other. He made some efforts, but I wanted to believe they were sincere. I wanted to believe badly that he was truly remorseful and willing to do whatever it takes to make things right, especially after all the lies, secrets, and betrayals, mistreatments, and all the tickle truth that damaged me so deeply. I begged him to stop. It made everything that much harder. I didn't need perfection. I needed to see consistency, humility, raw honesty, and real effort. I needed him to follow through with the things he said, but also the things I asked him for. Keep his word when he made me promises to me. But he kept falling short, and every other opportunity to build safe and trust faded away, and we moved further apart. I told him it was over. The marriage has passed away when he told me about the affair, and I never reconsidered reconciliation or the divorce. But all I wanted was healing, clarity, and some closure. Anything to honor the 10 years we spent together. Yes, of course, there was a part of me that whispered, what if he blew you away? What if he gave you 100%?
No, 110%.
Sorry. What if he gave you 110%?
And God, if he did that, he'd be making a mess because you could only put 100% of a glass in a cup before it runs over, and now you've spilled your water.
What if you started to see the man you always deserved? I don't know if that would have been enough to reconsider reconciliation, but I know it would have meant something to me regardless. Because I could then see destroying me meant something that was genuinely remorseful and committed to repairing what he broke, my heart, me. And also a commitment to finally repair himself. Because that is the right thing to do. Not just in hopes of winning me back, but because that is what you do when you're truly sorry. You take accountability, responsibility, and you change so you never hurt anyone else again.
I mean, I think it's unrealistic to expect to never hurt anyone ever again.
Yeah, it happens.
You know, I mean, that's just sometimes the way the world works.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, definitely understanding how to not actively hurt people by being, you know, an adulterer. That's a good way to go about that.
That's a good start, yeah.
You know,
I wanted him to be a unicorn. I wanted him to be the man I chose, the one I believed in, the man I spent 10 years with, that I married, that I'd fallen in love with to make things right. Even if we never got back together, I saw the good in him. I really did. And it was painful to watch the mask slip over the 10 years. See the cracks for him, and for him to turn into someone else. I felt like I didn't even know him the last few years of our relationship. But I kept holding on. I really believed he would rise to meet me, that he would grow up and do the work, that together we could be so strong that we could do anything together. It's so hard to see someone you love so much, someone you can see is in pain and needs help, continue to choose to run. I know he's struggling. I do believe there's a war inside of him, but I also know that he keeps making choices to avoid the hard, grueling, awkward, lonely, boring, agonizing work that is needed for him to finally find peace. I reached out after about 6 weeks of no contact. Then the divorce was final. I was struggling and felt a bit of a surge of confusion, panic, fear bubble up. It felt surreal, like things were undone. I wanted to explore closure therapy for some structured clarity and closure because I wasn't in a place for it mentally before. He had asked me for many months for couples therapy and said whenever I was ready, but I don't know if that was ever real. He spent 10 months after D-Day telling me what he wanted was healing. He wanted reconciliation. He wanted couples therapy, and then he started to slip back into some old patterns.
It took him 10 months to be like, yeah, I know we literally broke up 10 months ago, but let's actually work on it now. Now I'm ready. It took me 10 months.
Yay.
And also, this is clearly a lie, and I'm going to immediately backslide into other bad behaviors.
I found out a few things that were quite devastating after I reached out. He secretly started talking to someone new and then proceeded to lie and trickle truth me about it, only after being honest after I kept pressing. It wasn't jealousy I felt or that he isn't allowed to date. It's that it's emotionally reckless for him to do so. It's that he swore for so many months he wasn't interested in dating or even entertaining anyone because he needed to finally be alone and do the work. That is, he knows deep down that he's not healthy or ready to do it anyway. He also reached out to the affair partner for what? Who knows? She basically told him to F off. And he said he felt alone and needed that. But also, who doesn't know what he would have done if she reacted differently? Again, he swore to me that he'd never speak to her again. And also, he never would want to. Yet, he still did. He's also still okay with lying to me, even though he knows how much it hurts me. He's also hanging out with an old friend who he knows is not good for him. He spent 10 months ignoring him. Now he's back to business as usual. He's also not keeping up with his SLAA, journaling, meditating, reading, everything being pushed aside, and that cold, defensive, angry man who is always the victim I see actually never left. What's up with these adjectives, OP? Why we gotta attach like 4 to 5 adjectives per thing?
Because, Lil Kirkentologically.
It's like a crisis mode is over, and he's totally regressing. If any of the glimmers of hope and growth were even real, or maybe none of it was real or genuine, and all in his pleas, all of his efforts were just about relieving his guilt, his need for comfort, and possibly manipulation to try and get me to change my mind. I don't know. But I know he's once again, as he always has, choosing the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I think you need to choose the path of stopping your thoughts about this guy.
Honestly, yeah. In this world where therapy is so good for a person and it's great, I'm not talking down to therapy or whatever. I feel like it gets to a point where you overthink things
Yeah.
and you over explain things that you're stuck in this loop. And I believe solely that overthinking something joy.
It certainly, yeah, I would agree with that.
You can't just
Yeah.
let it be for the simplicity of it. You need to add meaning to every single thing that you do, and you just can't let it be.
It's always better to underthink than to overthink. Just internally, Like, you're always going to be more at peace if you're just like, I don't know. And, like, you can't really do that about everything, but it's like, that's literally like, what is it? I guess it's like Zen or like Buddhism is just being like, yeah, I don't have thoughts.
Yeah.
It's funny because our mind is, I watched something today talking about how it's way easier to get crossed up when you consider your mind and yourself to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because your mind is actually something you experience outside of you. That's like not necessarily real or true all the time. It's like you have thoughts all the time, and they just like come and they go. And those thoughts aren't you. They're like a program that runs on you, but they aren't you. It's like
So
the game on your computer isn't your computer. Computer is separate from the software on it.
Oh, that
And
makes
right?
sense.
sometimes your own brain's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, your brain's like, what? You're a
yourself.
loser. You can't do that. And then you're like, I'm a loser and I can't do that. But that's just your brain,
Just perspective on life.
just your mind. And your mind is lying to you.
He always chose his own comfort, avoidance, cheap dopamine hits, external validation, instead of the courageous path of healing and growth. Why fight for me, our marriage, even himself, when it is so much easier to stay the same, to continue to be toxic and harmful and find a new supply to numb himself? I see so much of his true self now. I urged to have been deceived for so long. My friends and my family thought so highly of him. We loved him so much, and he has hurt all of us, but especially me, his partner. He was supposed to love me, keep me safe, protect us, and he didn't. He's always fragile. He was barely holding on to it, but I think maybe, just maybe, there were real opportunities for him to turn it around and save us. OP continues. And if you want to listen to our podcast, go to OK Storytime on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. OP says, in the early days, weeks, months, it feels impossible that this is so real, valid. This is pain I wouldn't wish on anyone, but not even him. Betrayal trauma is real, and it takes time to get out of the fog and stabilize. Please be patient with yourself. I am still struggling and giving myself grace every day. It's really one foot in front of the other. Wow, OP. And my thoughts on this was it's really courageous that you're going through this, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, my thoughts are that this wasn't your fault, and you just need to learn to like move on from your ex.
Yeah, Coda says, just let it go, OP. Exactly. I'm not going to, you had so,
Yeah.
I'd hope that Reddit post made you feel better. I really do.
I do.